and as a team. I thought they were pick on a couple things defensively, kind of wore down a little bit, and they started dripping off tackles. Um, although we only played, I think it was 71 snaps defense. It's a different snap than it's a different type of play than you would in a normal spread type game. Our corners and safeties are taking on O linemen and fullback and tight ends, and it was a physical game. It took its toll on our line. We were able to rotate guys in, but for the most part, I thought they finished the game strong. So we're talking about our substitution packages and see if we can get ways to keep our guys fresh. Sione wore out at the end, and so did Corbin. So there's ways that we can keep them fresh and rely on the backup guys that we did the other positions. I thought defensively we had a lot of young freshmen in the game. Corners, all our freshman corners got to play, and that was really nice to see them be out there and compete. Had one PI call on him, but he's aggressive, and that's why we recruited those guys, not hired. Well, hired for a really low paying job. No, but that's what we brought them here to do, and yeah, just really excited that they were able to make those plays. Looking offensively, I thought just sustaining drives and getting more plays and running the clock a little bit more. But if we get chunk plays like we did in the run game and opportunities that we had out there, I think it's okay. We just got to convert on them. But I was really pleased with no turnovers in this game. Gave us a chance to play, a team game and to win the game as a team. I mean, it took all three phases for us to win this game. Really happy with our punt cover team, and just really pleased with the way we, Meg Shelton did a good job at the punt return, and so I'm really pleased with all three phases, and that's what happens when you do well as a team and everyone's working together. And energy was great. I mentioned that after the game, and we need to do that again this week.
How pleased are you with just the team's focus and mental approach on road games? I mean, both road games so far, you guys have come away with close wins over opponents, and they've been ones where defensively you've pretty much controlled the tempo for the bulk of the game.
Oh yeah, I was really happy. I think this week though was different than the other two. I think we were more relaxed, and I think that happened with the week of preparation. The guys worked really hard in the week, but we weren't really focused on the score as much as just making sure that we were executing and that we just did our jobs. We had the opportunity to trust each other, and we had a lot of young guys in the lineup on all three phases of the game. We saw a lot of freshmen in there, and I mean our center, left guard, and left tackle were all freshmen. And so we had a lot of young guys in the game, young receivers, Dax Milne and Gunnar Romney were on the field. So there's Dan Holker is a tight end, a young freshman. Lopini's a freshman. So a lot of young guys contributing, and really happy with the way they played. Maybe they're naive and didn't know the type of stage that they're at, but that's okay. I think they were just really excited to play the game and felt comfortable with the preparation. And on the defense side, you got a lot of young guys playing too. Special teams, a lot of young guys playing, and just really happy. I give a lot of credit to their coaches getting them ready for this game, but I just felt like we were prepared and just focused on trying to have a good time, and it worked out. I think that's how we have to play. We have to play a little loose and like you had nothing to lose. And so same approach going to go this week. Maybe a little bit different dynamic, but I like the preparation, like the game plan, so let's just try to keep it as much the same as possible.
That was a physical game. How did you come out health-wise?
We've been banged up with the three Power 5 opponents that we faced so far this year. We had some little bit of injuries here and there, but nothing too taxing or that's gonna. Our guys should heal up. I mean, we should have more guys back this week than we had last week, and if not, we got to keep working with the young guys. I think the approach at having the guys practice, if they practice, then they can play, and we just can't sit guys out for practice and expect them to play game ready on Saturday. That's just not going to happen. So, if they contribute and they participate in practice Monday through Friday, then they'll play in the game. If not, then they won't.
Is it a bit of a relief to be relatively healthy up to this point, given the amount of trouble you guys had with injuries last season?
Yeah, but I mean that's I think for any football team, you're going to have guys that are banged up. There's a difference between hurt and injured, right? And so everybody's hurting right now. Everybody's tired and sore, and injured's just not able to participate. And so our strength room and then our athletic training has done a great job again. Our guys keeping our guys healthy, and then give a lot of credit to our players and being mindful of their health and taking care of their bodies and getting the right nutrition, the right rest, and the right sleep for that's required to heal properly.
Kalani, what's different about this team? What's making a difference?
I don't know. You have to ask the guys. Those guys are they're doing everything the right way, and I'm just proud of them. You know, we've got great leaders that are taking over and good competition. So I think it's probably hard to answer that question in just one phrase. I think the culture of the team's taking form, and the players believe. We talked about developing a strong belief in what we're doing and what we represent and how we play the game, and really pleased with the way the guys are doing it. And I mean, it's just stuff that they learned when they were at home. So all we're doing is continuing them on the path of what they learned at home and applying it to the football field and being a student athlete at BYU.
How did you initiate that? I mean, I suppose it came from you.
I don't know. I think you give me too much credit. I think these are good kids, man. You know, and I think trying to just use their strength to get them in a position to have success. I think to be honest with you, just trying to focus on what our strengths are, which is toughness, and that BYU is really hard, you know, and we've taken that approach with our players that this is going to be a tough place, but because it's tough and it's because it's hard doesn't mean that it's not the right place for you. So in recruiting, guys are going to have to come in here and live a different code of conduct than other places. Academics are really hard, and then we're going to require a lot from you on the football field. And so if that's too difficult, then we can't take any prima donnas here, so that's okay. We'll move on, and there's a lot of guys that want to be here, and we have a coaching staff and a belief in the system that we'll play the best guys, and we'll let them compete it out, and the best will play, you know. And we had, I look at guys like Dax that has was a walk-on that had other offers and chose to come to BYU, and there's a reason why he was on the field against Wisconsin, because he deserved to be on the field. And so we just, the only difference between him and other recruits that we signed is that we ran out of scholarships. But I think it's important to play the best guys and the guys that work hard and get the right guys on this program, and then it'll all take over from there. But just focusing on what our strengths are, and I've mentioned this quite a bit before that those of us that served missions remember it. It's something that has such a huge imprint in our lives because it was hard, right? Because it was hard and difficult, that's why we loved it so much. And so BYU is going to be a 4-5 year grind, but you'll love your life. Speaking from a 42-year-old man, you'll appreciate what you did here in that time, and it's not that bad. No, it's a lot of fun, but I mean, so when all I did is, yeah. So let's go, man. But we weren't miserable. We weren't jumping around in that game. So that's the fun part of it. But it's going to be hard work, and that's what we got to hang our hat on now. And instead of trying to be all the other schools that are around recruiting that way, this is a difficult place, and only the best can survive here. And that's what it's going to be, and that's what it's going to take, and that's our culture.
Kalani, a lot of talk preseason that the schedule was too hard. Do you think going 2-1, and you said it wasn't, you said you wanted to play it, so credit for that, but going 2-1, does that validate kind of that stuff you preached in the preseason?
I don't know. I think when I was asked about the schedule, I was excited about the teams that we get to play, and more just to see where we stand. It was there's two trains of thought. One is that you grow from winning, and the other is that you grow from knowing how to improve. And I'm probably more the latter than the earlier. But to me, it's just, I think winning is the easier part. The harder part is getting everything lined up so you can win and be in the position to succeed. I think that's the foundation that we needed to set. And I talked about this game last year, that this after the Wisconsin game last year, said that we really need to get things different and better up front, and that's something that we need to hang our hat on. it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of tough times, but I think it paid off, you know what I mean? And our guys, now we just have to build on it. It does no good if you just have it show up once in a while, so this has to be something that we have to build on and keep consistent. And I am thankful that we had the schedule so that we can really see it's a standard that we can know how to measure ourselves. Otherwise, how are we supposed to know? You know more about yourself when you play someone that can beat you than when you play someone that you should beat.
How involved are you in the scheduling? Does Tom consult you when he has an opportunity?
He does, and I just tell him, line them up. I don't care if they're a great team, let's do it. And, if it's in 2028, then I hope I'm here still for that time, But it just seems so long from now. But, I like Pat Hill's approach to things. Anyone, anywhere, anytime, and I think that's cool, and not really worried about trying to be somewhere for 50 years. I just want to see how we can get a foundation built. It's what we enjoyed when I was here with Lavelle, is that there was a tradition, and the tradition was built on a strong foundation, and that's what we're trying to get right now.
Through 3 games, what's your assessment of Jeff Grimes and his staff on the offensive side?
Oh yeah, they're doing a great job. I mean, I think we have. There's not going to be the standard is different when you're talking about that style of offense. We huddle, we can change up the tempos and things like that, but we spread the ball around, and I've heard a lot of people already say that why didn't we give Squally the ball more? Because that wasn't the game plan. The game plan was to take what was there, and I think maybe Wisconsin thought we were just going to pound the ball with Squally the entire time, but we had to spread it out and see where, we had to stretch the defense out a little bit, and Squally was able to puncture through on a couple runs, and the O-line did a good job blocking outside and in the interior. So, yeah, they did a great job. I was just really pleased with what they're doing as a staff, and Grimes has no ego. He works really well with that staff, and this is awesome because he works with Ituyaki and the defense, and we work together with Ed Lamb's special teams and have a good strategy, and we're on the same page, and we try to go out and execute. And sometimes it doesn't work out well, but for the most part it should, especially when we're on the same page.
When you talk about stretching the defense, one player that comes to mind is Leve. He's always been a little bit of a Swiss Army knife on offense for you guys. You've had him running jet sweeps, catching the ball, throwing touchdown passes. What about his evolution has allowed him to be utilized so effectively in different phases on offense?
Oh, he's a great athlete. He was that when we recruited him, so he's got a lot of speed, and I think just there's a lot of trust in our players. And Aleva felt like he could get it done on that throw, and it's crazy because we practiced that a bunch, and I don't know if the offense was really that comfortable with Moroni and his acting in it, because they were talking about it after, and but our thought is if you practice it, let's go with it, and when the spotlight's on, it's a little different, and obviously Moroni didn't need to act that well. It worked out, so I mean, I think they executed perfectly, but there are other plays that we could have really done a better job at, and our focus is on getting those things figured out first.
You said your team was relaxed and free at Wisconsin. How do you get them to play that way at home? Because it felt like maybe against Cal they might have been a little uptight about playing.
Yeah, I felt that too, and I think that's my job, is to find a way to get them to be relaxed, and we're going to try to get that done for this home game, and but I think you still approach the game like it's every game's going to be Wisconsin for us, as our mindset. We just have to we know we're going against a different opponent, really good team, undefeated, and they're ranked in the FCS, and Coach Grimes and Pugh, they all know that area. They know the transfers and the type of recruits that they get in that school. So it's when I was at Southern Utah, we played against them as well a couple times. So we're familiar with the type of athletes that play there and their mindset. And so nobody's taking it easy. And as far as we don't have any time to relax. And this press conference almost feels too late. You know what I mean? I have to do a coach's show tomorrow that will seem like it's too late, especially when we're going to move on and get to the next game. But this is a big win, and that's part of the process, and so we'll just do that. But for our players, we've already moved on to the next one.
Any concern with the fires in the smoke potentially Does it affect you guys preparation-wise, I guess?
Not really. We just, I think there's this thing that detects whether or not it's healthy. I mean, if you smell it, it smells like campfire, then I think you're okay as long as you can see Mount Timpanogos for us. So we can see it today, so we'll practice outside. Yeah, that's. I wasn't prepared for that question.
That's the sniff test.
I thought your question, no, I have all the faith in the firefighters fighting the fire. I didn't know what you were getting at.
So if you can see the tip, you're good.
Okay, I thought you were giving me percentages like, hey, we're not containing the fire fast enough. They're great. I know a lot of firefighters. They're doing a great job.
You talked about the
Trap question. Go
think
ahead.
about the younger players.
Mhm.
Keone Salyapaga.
Mhm.
He started at guard for you, and you moved him to the offensive line in the fall camp. What's his journey been like to get to that spot?
He's worked really hard for this, and it wasn't a perfect game by him, but for a freshman starting there in this first big time role, it was huge. He performed really well, and he had that gamer type mentality, and the only way to get him in that position is for him to earn the starting spot and compete. And we felt like he earned that spot at left guard and gave him a shot. And that should be really motivating for other people around, especially when you see the other guys on the team that are out there playing. And that's just the mindset and the culture that we're setting right now, is that the best will play. And if you're not able to go, Butch didn't play, but he did a great job, and he relished the role that he had, as a captain, as a leader, and supported Sione and the other guys and Adam. And so, it worked out really well. That everyone has to relish their role, and if someone's not able to go and perform because of injury or because they got beat out, then they just have to keep trying, but they still have a role as a backup. Or, you guys are going to talk to Gavin Fowler. That guy won the game for us with his hold, and something that nobody will talk about enough, but we knew about it, and the whole team knew about it. And Skyler had a lot of faith that he'd get it down because we've practiced so many times of him making that type of play.
Kalani, can you take us through what it was like for you in the hours after the game? How many text messages you got? Who maybe kind of reached out congratulatory? I know you got a lot of friends in the business.
Yeah, everybody. Anyone that's connected with BYU and people that are connected with me, they reached out and texted me. So you can pretty much guess. It was a lot. Or text messages? 420. Yeah. So that's how many I got. I answered all of them back. So more than when I got the job.
Kyle, Gary.
Yeah. Yep. All of them. Yep. All the guys, Andy Reid, all the guys that are involved with BYU and as alumni, or involved with me in my life, former players, stuff like that, here and at other places, So, I just really appreciate the people that are involved and people that support me personally, but support the program. Has been such a cool thing to see, and our players feel it too.
Anything else? Last question.
Yeah, was Sione Takitaki's performance against Wisconsin what you envisioned for him when you moved him back to linebacker?
Yeah, I think we felt like he could make those plays, and I think that Coach Tuyaki doesn't get enough credit for what he does defensively, and that D-line came ready to play. We used a lot of guys up front, and it was such a cool battle to watch, to have our guys be tested physically, and now we have to have a short memory of it and just move on to the next one, because it doesn't really matter. It's what have you done for me lately, and lately is coming this Saturday. So we need to see that type of performance again from that D-line. I think if we can do that every week, we should be in a good position, and that's it's a huge credit to Coach Tuyaki, Coach Lamb, Preston Hadley, and Jannard Guilford. They do a great job on that defense, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You probably have the power to change that coaching style every day you want.
Yeah, but Monday is family home evening. You trying to get me in trouble? Can't do it on Sunday,
We don't want you in trouble, that's for sure.
No, it's okay. I think I'm grown enough to handle that one. These guys got to move on.
You're bringing in an acting coach from Verona? I'm just wondering for future game.
I don't know how you're supposed to act on that one. So maybe some of the coaches.
I know they
should show
mentioned
us.
it, so I was like, okay.
I know. I think they're just picking on Verona a little bit too much. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Questions for Corbin?
What was that weekend like after the game? I mean, you and I talked after the game, but what was the rest of the weekend like? Just being able to savor that for a while and all the response?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. And I think one of the big things is, despite winning or losing, you come back and, there's always the hype and everyone's excited and whatnot, but it's just gets back to the old grind. The weekend's the weekend. So you come back home, you see your family and all that, and it's pretty much the same.
Does the 2-1 start, does that validate some of the changes and improvements that you guys made on both sides of the ball coming into the season?
I think in a little bit, yes. Like, of course, you don't want to say, 2-1, we've made it. You've never 2-1 is nothing compared to what we could do. But it's nice to be able to show people what we've done doing in the off season and all the changes we've had.
What can a game like that do for you guys for a season? I mean, moving forward, what can something like beyond just what happens right now, moving forward?
I think it's huge for our confidence, of course. That's one of the biggest things you can get from a win like that is that you can hang with the big boys, and so it's like, okay, how do we grow from that? I definitely don't want to be the guy that's like, that win alone just made the season, because that's how losers think, I feel like, and we're definitely not that type of team. So it's huge for us, but at the same time, we got to keep rolling.
You talked about the changes. What's changed?
Since last season, everything. I think the biggest thing is our mentality. The culture of the team is completely different, and that's probably the biggest thing for us.
How so?
I'd say just accountability. Guys are starting to take it upon themselves that we had to do more, and it wasn't there was things the coaches might have been able to do better last year and might not, but I think for the players, it's like we got to take it on us to get into extra work, and we can't be negative all the time. We can't let things get us down. We got to be more positive, and we got to work harder, and I think everyone took that upon themselves.
Is there a toughness quotient?
Oh yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is how tough we can be. It's one thing to say, talk about toughness a lot, because every football's a tough sport, and everyone has toughness to a certain extent, but it's coming back from last season, it's how can you translate that into your work ethic.
Coach Sitake said on the post game on Saturday that one of the things he's noticed was just how much fun you guys were having. How does that part of it, having fun and being relaxed like that, how does that translate itself onto the field?
I think it's one of the biggest things, especially for our team, that we have a good time. And, I'm not saying, dancing around and being goofy is having fun, but whatever gets us to have high energy. And so whether we, dance around a little bit, act a little loose, that's what keeps the energy rolling for us. And so that's what's so big for us. You see teams, and for me, sometimes it's fun to be silent and to just smash people in the mouth and not have to dance around at all, hit them in the mouth and then walk off the field. But a lot of times you need to have a little extra something to get the juices going.
You guys rotated a lot of bodies on Saturday.
Yeah.
How was that? Like, just getting some continuity going. Is it just tough to get along with guys, or can you just do your part and move along?
I think the great thing, especially about the D-line, and we had so many guys rotating there, was that we all trust each other. And so it didn't matter who we were in with. It's not like I'm like, I want to be in with my brother or someone like that at all. But that was one of the biggest things we worked on, was just making sure we could rotate smoothly. Like, there were some times where we might have missed a little bit here and there. I think we got a penalty for substitution, but for the most part, it went a lot more smooth than it could have been, because sometimes we're rotating 6 defensive linemen, and that's huge.
Coach Sitake mentioned that up to this point in the season, you guys aren't really having a ton of injuries. I mean, people are banged up and hurt, but it's nothing like last season where the injury bug just struck over and over again.
Yeah.
How has that made a difference for you guys, just being relatively healthy for the most part?
That's the name of this game, is how long you can stay healthy and how healthy you can be every game from week to week. And I give a lot of that, like, hats off to our strength staff for getting our bodies to a point where we can handle as much as we've been going through. And of course, some of the big injuries you can't really prepare for or do anything for. But I think a lot of it has to do with the way our bodies have been, trained this whole off season.
Corbin, you guys have always said you don't duck these hard opponents in September. Does going 2-1 kind of validate that whole philosophy that you guys have kind of stuck throughout this?
Yeah, I would say it does in a way, because you know, I love playing the big teams. That's what you want to play for. You want to play for the big stage. You know, we're not here to have a mediocre season or to win half the games this year or barely be bowl eligible. We're here to win every single game. And so whether it be against a top 10 team or a smaller team, it doesn't matter. But I think for us, we'd much rather play against the big guys and win.
What does it mean?
Having said that, does this game coming up against an FCS opponent change?
It definitely doesn't change to us players, you know. And I think it's almost some would say it's even a harder game because I remember I used to hear a lot about trap games. You know, you come in and you beat a big team like Wisconsin, and then it's a trap game if you play a small school next because now you have the target. We took the target off Wisconsin, and now the target's on us. And so we believe that they're going to be coming, you know, full steam ahead after us, and so we got to be on top of our game this week.
What is the
know
top?
who you play after McNeese State? I'm just curious.
I know the teams we play, but basically like order, where, time of the day. Like I feel bad. My family asks me. My friends are like, "Oh, do you have tickets to this game?" And I'm like, "I don't know when that game is, to be honest. But if you ask me a couple days before, I'll get back to you."
What does the top 25 ranking mean to you in this group?
It means a lot, but more than anything, I think it means more to the people that doubted us. And I think that's what is big for us, is that a lot of people have doubted us and a lot of people, you know, were kind of unsure of things. And I think we put a lot of that uncertainty to rest.
How do you keep playing with nothing to lose now that you have more to lose in the sense of a national ranking and, you know, that target that you talked about? How
Yeah.
do you keep that mentality when that kind of has shifted to now having more pressure on your backs?
I think it's just keeping your vision high. You know, you can't go into a game and be like, okay, we've already won this many games, so if we lose this one, it's okay. It's okay, what's next? You know, you hit a goal and then you look for the next goal. You got to keep elevating your priorities and the things that you want to do.
Tough question, Corb. Beating Gonzaga in Spokane when they're number one undefeated, beating Wisconsin at Camp Randall.
I think Wisconsin was huge for us. Like, don't get me wrong, Gonzaga was awesome, but like for the team, it was just incredible. And so I loved that win.
You beat Gonzaga 3 times, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah.
had to pick one.
Probably
That's the
the
one I
only
picked.
human on the earth that's ever beat Gonzaga 3 times.
I'll take to my grave. No.
Last few questions.
How would you assess your play against Wisconsin individually?
You know, I think there's definitely some things I needed to work on. I definitely had some sacks that I could have had, and I let them get away a few times. We got to change my pursuit angles and whatnot. But the main thing I wanted to go in there and do was be more physical, and I think there's a lot of times where I was able to hit that standard that I set for myself, and there were some times where I didn't. And so I think I did decent, but definitely got to get back into the film room and check it out.
A lot of guys from Utah County on the team. You guys you played against got a sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like playing with some of the guys that you played with and against in college?
I love it. I love all the dudes. I don't know, it's kind of just this fun fraternity that we have. And whether they're guys from here or not from here, just the whole team, because you gain such a bond with guys on the team. And literally, there's stories to be told about every single guy and their relationship with one another on the team, you know, whether it was from years ago or just something that happened this summer that brought us closer together. And so when guys are able to go in and make plays, like it's genuine happiness for someone that you care about. You know, it's not like I'm just genuinely happy when my brother does something good or my best friend, but literally every guy you feel genuine happiness for him.
I'm not sure Zach knew what to do after he made the sack. The celebration was kind of.
Hey, I think that's what happens to everyone. You know, you do something great and it's like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. So you just try to get off the field without falling down or something. You know.
Anything else for Corbin? All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. No worries.
What's up, guys?
What was that like going in there and playing a physical defense as physically as you and the boys did?
It was awesome. It was hot. I would come to the sideline, just couldn't get enough water in me, but it was great. I think it was something that we just working up to the whole week. We were just excited to go in. We knew that they were physical defense. We knew we had to play physical and went out and had a great game. So it was a lot of fun.
With the way you guys have started, road victories against two some of the changes that you tried to do as a team or program coming into this season?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely does. I think just our hard work in the off season, during spring ball, summer workouts, all of that is culminating. But I think even more importantly, our week by week work is really, I feel, what validates us the most going into the games. Like when we have a good week of practice, we feel confident, ready to go into that game. So it's been a long road, but I think it's all leading up to just games like this where everyone can come together and just play well.
Does this team have an identity that you're seeing emerge?
Yeah, no, I think the identity is just tough, just guys who will believe that we can make plays, believe that we can do special things. I think that was the big theme that came out after the win at Wisconsin, is that we're just getting started and that we're excited for the rest of the season.
Do you have goals? I mean, what are there things in your sights?
I think just besides like some of the benchmark goals we have, just top 25 ranking, protecting Lavelle's house, those are team goals that Coach Sitake talks about all the time in our meetings and everything. So I think just that we've had those goals since the beginning of the season, so those are the ones that we're working to maintain.
Place kicking's kind of been a problem in past years. What does it do for you guys to have a guy that can go in there and drill a 45-yarder in a situation like that? What does that do just for the offense, the team in general?
It's great. I mean, I think for us, it helps the offense feel a little more relieved when we don't get to the end zone quite as we should. But to be able to have a guy like Skyler who's been doing a great job, it's just a sense of relief for us to know that if we can get him in position, no matter what happens at the end of the drive, he can score for us.
Keelan plays kind of opposite you at the left guard spot. Surprise start, I think, in most people's minds. What did you make of his play as a freshman?
I thought the way he went in and handled that environment, that situation, I mean, as a kid who's never started before, I thought he did a great job handling it and just remaining composed, remembering his assignments, what he needed to do. So I thought he did a great job. I thought he played physical.
He was a defensive lineman a month ago.
Yeah,
So what's changed? Like what happened to make him as effective as he was?
I think just him, he's just a natural athlete. And we were all just been amazed how he made the transition to offensive line, because it's a very technical position, but he's done a great job transitioning over. I think he's surprised a lot of coaches, a lot of players, and he's been doing a great job for us. So we're really proud of him and what he's doing.
Is the offensive line the heart and soul of the team?
We try to be. I think that's something that our coaches just always tell us, is that if we want the rest of the team to move forward and play physical. Coach Sitake had a meeting with us this last week with the offensive and defensive line, saying that just a culture of toughness and physicality starts with us, the big boys down there. So,
from a mental standpoint, how do you transition from getting ready to play Wisconsin on the road to now coming home for an FCS team? How do you make that transition?
For me, I don't think it'll be much of a difference. I mean, McNeese State, they're a good program. I've been able to watch some film on them. They got some big boys on the defensive line. So I think for me, kind of my mindset is preparing for it just like a Wisconsin game. Is just going in and making sure we have focused practices, physical practices, and getting ready for them just as if they were a top 10 opponent. So,
what does it do for an offensive line when you attack wide and then go up the middle like you're able to do with the jet sweeps, and then with Squally kind of hitting it when you're kind of attacking the different sides of the field? What does that do for the offensive line?
I think for us, we never know where the ball is going to go, whether they're handing it or but I think it just does a great job of just us being able to get to the linebackers. And I mean, a couple of the big runs where that Squally had, one of them came from the linebacker chasing the jet sweeps. I think when we're able to do that, when we're doing a good job in the perimeter and also doing a good job inside, it just opens up those big plays. So for us, it's great just to know that there's multiple options for the run to go to, and that either one is going to be a good play.
Another element of that is the necessity of the guys on the edges, tight ends, wide receivers, to be able to block well. Is that mentality, that toughness mentality you were talking before, do you see that spreading out because of all of that blocking that those guys are also doing, and just the idea of going up and hitting someone on offense?
Yeah, no, I think during this week we focused a lot on just being physical in our blocks, and the wide receivers, tight ends, they focused on that a lot this week as well. And you could see it on film, them blocking guys downfield, getting pancakes around on this perimeter, and those guys did a great job preparing throughout the week so that they could play well on Saturday.
You mentioned being ranked as a goal for the team. To be there at this point of the season, what does that mean to you guys?
For me, like I don't pay a ton of attention to rankings. I think rankings are more prevalent at the end of the season, but it is exciting. I think it's exciting to kind of make that top 25. But I think the mindset is just keep taking each game week by week, and whatever rankings come, they come. So.
Kalani said you guys played loose and relaxed at Wisconsin. Can you duplicate that at home?
Yeah. Yeah, No, I think that was a focus. That was one takeaway that Coach Sitake talked about after the Cal game, is he felt that everyone wasn't relaxed and weren't having fun, and the game's meant to be fun. And I feel like at Wisconsin, or really leading up this whole week of practice, going into Wisconsin, we were able to have a lot more fun throughout the week, and we just want to be able to mimic that in this week preparing for McNeese State. So.
How do you develop that? Having fun.
I think just smiling during practice when things are hard, just getting into the music, whatever music they're playing. We played jump like 3 times a day during practice this last week, so that was always kind of fun. Like, we were excited to go there and be able to see that really cool tradition. So I think just being able to, like, if something negative happens during practice, just pumping each other up and being positive has been great for us.
What's the memory that will pop into your head for years to come when, if you ever hear that song Jump Around again? What's the first thing that's going to come into your mind, do you think?
Probably, of course, I'll always think of Wisconsin now, but I just love the fourth quarter, how our whole sideline was jumping around and people just waving towels. Like, I wasn't jumping around like crazy because I didn't want to wear myself out, but I had a towel just waving it above my head, and it was, I think, that moment to see the whole team on the sidelines just jumping around, having fun. I think that'll be the first thing that comes to mind.
Anything else for Austin?
You guys gonna keep playing?
What?
Keep playing, jump around? I mean, it seemed to
Hopefully,
work, so
yeah.
keep playing?
If they do play during practice, I'll probably jump around a little. So.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Austin.
That's true.
You're on the spotlight now.
Questions for Gavin Fowler?
Talk about that field goal and, the big moment and not the easiest play.
Yeah, our coaches have a lot of trust in our field goal unit, but especially in Skylar and his leg strength, and he's worked really hard to be prepared for moments like that. So when we knew we were getting towards scoring position, we got ready and went out there and executed it the way we've done it in practice hundreds of times. So, it's high pressure and, big moment for the game, but for the whole field goal unit, really, it was just doing what we practice every day.
What is it like being a holder when the snap is off like that one? Because that wasn't the perfect snap, and you've got a very limited window to get the ball in position.
Yeah, I didn't think too much of it at the time. Mitch and I have been working on our exchange between the center to me all off season, all spring, all summer, and so, bad snaps happen here and there. Snapping is not an easy thing, and so you just kind of get used to handling what you can and getting it down there in position for the kicker to make the play.
Throughout fall camp, several players have mentioned you as a guy who's really helped them, and you kind of have an understated role on the team, but a very important role. Can you maybe discuss your role on your team and what you're doing?
I think probably the biggest role I have is just kind of experience, because I've been on the team the longest of anybody. I've been here since 2011. I'm a 6th year. Got an extra year with injuries and stuff, so I've been here for a long time through multiple coaching staffs, and so just kind of a mentorship role to the younger guys and helping them learn the schemes of our defense and our special teams, and understanding how they can contribute no matter what class they are. If they're a freshman, sophomore, it doesn't matter. Everybody can contribute in a way. And so that's something I've tried to embrace as well, is just no matter what my role is, just doing the best I can every day to help the team get better. in whatever way that is.
Because of what you just mentioned and the reasons that you've had some setbacks along the way, what did that experience and that win mean to you, having been here and gone through all that before?
It's really special to go into a place like that in a hostile environment with a really good team and to be able to compete and come out on top is always fun. But more so just seeing the state of the program where we feel like we can compete with anybody, and to be able to go out and do that and execute on every level with lots of guys contributing, lots of guys making big plays and coming up big when we needed them to. It's really special and really fun to see the program moving in a good direction, moving in a positive way. And so that's, for me, it's not so much about personal achievements and what individuals are doing, but seeing the whole team, the whole program as a whole getting better and competing at the highest level.
How have you done that? How have the guys done that?
A lot of it is just with the culture. As Coach Sitake, during this offseason and stuff, wanted to just change our culture of being physically and mentally tough. Feeling like we can compete anywhere, no matter who we're playing, no matter where it is, and believing in ourselves, believing that we've put in the work, that we deserve to be there, that we belong, and that we can compete and execute with anybody. And so just the whole cultural realignment that Coach Sitake has tried to implement, you can see it really taking hold this season.
Had that been lost last year a little bit?
Maybe a little bit. Sometimes with coaching transitions, things can kind of get a little bit tough and you can have some setbacks. But this year has been really positive, being able to kind of turn a new leaf and just get better, focusing every week on doing what we can to get better for the following week.
How does that win springboard you guys moving forward?
I just think it gives us a lot of confidence that we can compete with anybody. Wisconsin's a really, really good team. And we went and we stood toe-to-toe with them. We competed with them every play, and we came out on top in that battle. But just helping us instill that belief that we can compete with anybody, which we already believe going in, but it helps cement that we can play with any team.
What did you tell Skylar after he missed the first field goal? Big stage, freshman kicker, only his second field goal or third field goal attempt, and he pulls it.
Yeah, before the kick, I just told him, hey, just like practice, just like we do every day in practice. And, he ended up missing it, and that happens. It's a long field goal, and he's young, he's a freshman. And we came over to the sideline, and I just grabbed him again, and I said, hey, don't worry about it. It happens, but just forget about that one. Let's get ready for the next one. And that's what he did. He came back, and he was able to make a huge one for us that ended up being the difference.
What did you see in him? Because being a young player, those emotional swings can be tough. College football is a different level than high school and stuff. What did you see in him?
He's a pretty mentally tough kid. A lot of guys would get discouraged and come over and hang their head, but he didn't do that, really. I expected him to. That's why I went over and talked to him. But he came over, wasn't too bummed about it. He was a little bit disappointed that he missed, as you should be. But he kept his head up, and I told him, you're fine. We'll just go make the next one. And he believed that he would. And the rest of the unit, too, was really good. Nobody was giving him a hard time about missing. Everybody told him, hey, it's okay, Skylar. We believe in you, and you can do it. So having the belief of the whole unit behind him, I think gives him that confidence to be able to go out and forget about any misses or mistakes that may have been made and just look forward to the next one.
How do you guys approach, or how do you guys view the opportunity that presents itself on Saturday against McNeese State?
We're really excited. Every week is an opportunity to get better no matter who you play. McNeese State's a good team. We've started watching film a little bit already, and they're good. And we're excited for them to come here and to play in front of our home crowd. And it's another opportunity to go compete with good teams. You love to play against good, physical, tough teams every week, and so we're really excited for the challenge this week.
As a holder, what was your perspective on Wisconsin's last field goal attempt?
I actually haven't watched it really yet. Seen a little bit of the highlights of the miss and all that, but
What were you doing during the game then?
I was watching, but I was watching our defense. I was looking for the pressure from the defense. So
You'd be watching the
no, I was watching our guys because I also play defense. I was watching our safeties and if they were doing their assignment right. So, it happens. Good players make mistakes, and they've got great players. Their kicker's a really good kicker. He's been there for a long time, and he's made a lot of big kicks. So, he's a good player. He'll be okay. He's tough. He's mentally tough, and he's a good player. So,
Gavin, after your really devastating knee injury and given what your role had been on the team, why did you come back from all that?
A lot of it was I felt like I needed to for my teammates. I had both my knee injuries. I had tore both my ACLs and came back from those, and just the support that I got from them, I felt like I owed it to two of my brothers on the team to still fight and come back and do what I could. I didn't know if my role would be the same as it was before or how it would change, but I knew that if I didn't do everything I could to help the team, that I was letting them down. So coming back to be a part of it and to try to help, get the culture of the program in the right place, I felt like I owed it to both my coaches and my teammates to do the best to come back and fill whatever role was needed for me at the time.
So you graduated, or you're working on a...
Yeah, so I'm in my second year of my master's degree now. We'll finish that this next year. So, yeah, because of the eligibility, I was able to finish my bachelor's degree early and then start my master's last year, and so I'm in my second year of that now.
You going into the family business?
No. I'd like to do coaching. So I've talked to Coach Sitake about that a little bit. So, yeah.
Any other questions for Gavin? All right, thanks, Gavin.
Thanks, guys.
Nice job.
Points.